You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling.
Okay, guys. So sorry about that. Okay, so I have to start from the beginning because according to my son and my moderator daughter that I was actually muted. Right? So again, everyone, thank you so much for coming in on the live. And if you are watching on replay, thank you so much. All right, so again, good day, everyone. And today on Crafty Nights, we will have a special show because instead of doing our usual crafty projects, we will get to see a different kind of creativity in the form of getting to know how a paranormal comedy podcast is created with Michael Sessums. Michael is the brilliant solo creator behind the uproarious and wildly entertaining Mosquito Springs paranormal comedy podcast. So in this extraordinary podcast, Michael wears many hats, assuming the role of not only the mastermind behind the show, but also the sole performer responsible for bringing each and every character to life. So with his boundless creativity and incredible vocal range, he deftly navigates the intricacies of multiple personalities, crafting a world filled with laughter, surprises, and supernatural hilarity. So, as the solo creator of Mosquito Springs, Michael takes on the formidable task of performing a myriad of diverse characters, from eccentric townsfolk to mischievous ghosts and everything in between. So, with meticulous attention to detail, he breathes life into each character, imbuing them with their own quirks, idiosyncrasies, and comedic timing. Through his unmatched talent, Michael effortlessly transports listeners into the whimsical and paranormal realm of Mosquito Springs. Every episode of Mosquito Springs is a testament to Michael's dedication and passion. So, from crafting engaging storylines to perfecting the delivery of each character's lines, he pours his heart and soul into creating an audio masterpiece. Okay, that really is a very wonderful and awesome and captivates the imagination. So, through meticulous editing, Michael ensures that the podcast audio quality is also top notch, embracing listeners in a sonic experience that enhances the comedic and paranormal elements of the show. So, today we will also get to have the opportunity to witness Michael's remarkable skills and expertise firsthand. And as you might have guessed, yes, Michael also is an amazing artist and crafter as he creates his own merch for his amazing show as well. So prepare to be amazed and delighted by the sheer talent and ingenuity of Michael, the solo creator behind Mosquito Springs. So get ready to embark on a side-splitting adventure into a world where anything is possible and laughter reigns supreme. And so without further ado, let's welcome first time on Mommy Guide Inc. and I hope not the last, Michael Sessums. Hi, Michael!
Hey, how we doing today?
Yes, thank you so much. It's actually pretty early for Michael, so we would like to commend him and thank him for coming in so early in the morning for him. Oh, what a wonderful hat. There you go. A hat
Good
within a
evening,
hat
everyone.
within a hat. There you go.
Well, I wear so many multiple hats, you know.
There
I
you
thought
go.
I'd
See?
show that I got a few of them here.
Yes. So probably Michael gets inspiration from those different hats when he actually creates his different characters, which we'll talk about
Absolutely.
in a little bit, right, Michael? So first and
Yes,
foremost,
indeed.
let's say hi to Sammy. Hi, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great Saturday. Yes, thank you, Sammy.
Hey, Sammy.
All right.
What you doing there, bud?
Ah,
Good to
and
see
then
you.
she said muted. So I had to start again. Thank you so much for saying we're muted. And Simply Lorenzo, thank you so much, Simply Lorenzo. Simply Lorenzo is a content creator all the way from Dubai. Thank you so much for joining us,
Wow,
Simply.
Lorenzo, man. Great
Yes,
to
there
see
you
you.
go. All right. So, Michael, okay, so you create something that's quite unusual, right? So, we have had
Yep.
several episodes in the past where we talked about podcasts, how to create a podcast, how to start a podcast. But yours is, not just simply a podcast, it's a paranormal comedy podcast. What does that actually mean? So probably others like, what does that mean, Mami Lala? Okay. And I would like to commend that huge microphone that you have beside you.
The little bitty thing.
You
All
mean
right,
this
there you
little thing right here? This thing's just really cute. This little tiny thing. Yeah, it's got a little microphone sitting inside of it.
So there you go. So what is a paranormal comedy podcast?
Well, paranormal is anything that's kind of out of the ordinary, like ghosts and zombies and any kind of weirdness, aliens and stuff like that. Comedy, because we throw a little bit of humor in there. We're not trying to scare everybody, although sometimes we put a little jolt in there for you. But so that's paranormal comedy. We take the paranormal and the weirdness of that realm, and we make it funny and give everybody a little bit of a laugh.
Okay, so there you go. So this time, because probably like it for those who are not used to really, doing podcast and stuff. So most of the time, I think the thing that what they think about podcast, they think about coaching, they think
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
content creation, but actually, podcasts, you can actually also listen to stories, right? So,
Yes.
yeah. So, can you tell us about this paranormal comedy podcast that you have called Mosquito Springs? So, what is this
Oh,
Mosquito Springs all about?
well, Mosquito Springs is a little fictional town in East Texas, and you have some buddies, three main buddies that have grown up together. I do the voices for all of them, and they run into paranormal stuff all the time. I mean, they can be eating out somewhere, and there'll be maybe a zombie at the next table or something. They can be like going to a tractor pull or a monster truck event, and one of the trucks will become possessed by a demon. So they've got to jump into their ghost busting outfits and run out there and free the demon and save the day.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, I'm sorry, Michael. I'm looking at my bandwidth statistics right now, and they are pretty red and low.
Oh,
So, okay,
oh,
so hang there with me. Okay, hang in there, Michael. Okay, it's getting better. Okay, so it just goes into the red every now and then. I'm not sure. Probably because of the time and it's Saturday, maybe a lot of people are using it, but it's pretty red. So if you feel or if you see that you are becoming blurred on your side, your monitor,
mhm.
it is because of that one. But we're still okay. In the event that it really gets too bad, I would ask you to leave and then come back. All right. So
Okay.
if that happens, but so far so good. It's pretty bad. It's very very low numbers. It has to go up in a little bit, but I'm monitoring it. All right. So there you go. Okay. So that is how Mosquito Springs is about. So it's a the inspiration behind it, right? So
Right.
when did you start doing podcast, and why podcast? Why not create this into a book or a comic, right? Or a video. So why did you decide that podcast was going to be like the avenue for you, the medium that you will use to actually bring Mosquito Springs into the world?
Right. Well, anybody can listen to a podcast. There's so many different podcast players, probably about 30 different kind that people are into. You can listen to it all over the world. And it's easy to publish, and it's not very expensive either. I think it's like $12 a month for me to have a host that publishes all of this stuff for me. So it makes it
Mm.
really easy. Now, maybe in the future, I might do like an animated
Oh.
project of this. And I think I would so love to see my characters come to life in that way as well. But one of the things about podcasts is, it's just, at least the way that I do it, it's like a radio play or a
Mm-mm.
audio drama, in that the people on the other end, the listeners, they can come up in their minds with who these people are. They get the vision themselves about who these people are, and maybe it reminds them of their uncle or their aunt or some other person that they've met.
Hello.
Uh-oh,
Hello.
uh-oh. I
Hello.
think I
Okay.
got.
So there you go. There you go. Okay, I think I found the culprit.
Ah,
Okay, I found the culprit. So the culprit was because I was working on Wi-Fi. Okay, I was on Wi-Fi all along instead of using the connection for, cable. So now it's better. Now it's all black. Now we're good. Ah,
oh,
sorry
that's
about
good.
that. All right, so that's a great reason. That's a great why. So hopefully, and I do hope so, Michael, and I'm pretty sure that hopefully somebody sees your Mosquito Springs episodes. Maybe Pixar, maybe Disney. Who knows, right? And
That'd be
buy
cool.
the rights or collaborate with you. Why not, right?
Yep,
That would be
exactly.
awesome, right?
It would indeed.
Mm-mm. Okay. So, but the thing that's also different, guys. Okay. So, first and foremost, okay, if you are not yet following Michael, this is Michael's socials. Okay. So, he is on Instagram as Michael Sessums VO, and his website is mosquitosprings.com. That is actually where you can actually also listen to the podcast. And he's also, his podcast, Mosquito Springs, is also in almost all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, everything. Okay. He is there. Okay. He's also on Twitter. Okay. So Mondo Tiki and on TikTok. Okay. And of course, there you go. Easier to see. And if you wish to support what Michael is doing, he also has a buy me a coffee so we can be assured that he can continue doing Mosquito Springs moving forward while we await somebody to syndicate his show, right, Michael?
Absolutely.
All right. So the thing that probably people don't know yet because they haven't seen or heard, okay, your podcast is that Michael does everything. He is the character, the voice, the sound effects, the storyteller, the creator of the story, the playwright, whatever you call it, right? Okay, but hold on.
That's
While we talk, before we talk about that, Michael, let's say hi to Patrick, Everyday Tech. Hi, Patrick. Yes, good morning to you and good evening to all of you from Patrick.
Hey
All
man,
right.
how's it going,
Yes.
Patrick?
Will there be a Lala crafting podcast in the future? I don't think I can do a Lala podcasting crafting about crafting, Patrick, but I have actually started my conversations with Lala for everything that's not craft related. So you have to go back, Patrick, and also be a guest, and hopefully Michael can come onto that platform as well. And thank you
Be
so much,
fun.
Master Red, for sharing. There you go. All right, so Michael,
Woohoo!
as we said,
Yay!
yeah, you are the soul, you're everything about this show. But when they listen
Right.
to it, you wouldn't know. You would think that,
No.
wow, there's so many people involved in this production. How I wish that we could actually play bits and pieces of it, but I decided not to last minute because you know how difficult it is with YouTube for reuse content, right? So the best thing is for you guys to go ahead on to this one. Okay, he has a lot of episodes that I don't know if you call it episodes or chapters. Okay, but it's in mosquitosprings.com, and it's also on YouTube. Okay, at Mosquito Springs Paranormal. Okay, if you are not yet okay subscribe, then we it would be a real help, and we would appreciate it so much if you would head on to Mosquito Springs Paranormal and YouTube, and please do like and subscribe. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so watching the team with the team. Thank you, Manong B. Hi. Yes, I am part of Manong B. Say hi, Michael, to Manong B. Yes.
Hello, Manong B. How you doing there? It's so good
All
to see
right. Yes,
you.
I'm a proud member of Manong B's community. He's a Filipino content creator on digital marketing, and he helps Filipino creators, maneuver this YouTube that we call and different platforms. Thank you, Ate Margie, for being here. All right. So, Michael, first and foremost, why did you decide to become all and be all in Mosquito Springs? Right? Why didn't you like, okay, I think I will get somebody to do this character, somebody to do the audio, somebody to do, the story. Okay, so what inspired you to be the solo creator and be all in Mosquito Springs?
Well, it was something called a pandemic, and it was 2020, and there wasn't really a whole lot of other people hanging around to do stuff. So I
Mm.
had to come up with something I could do on my own, and something that could give a laugh to people and relieve some of the tension everybody was feeling at the time.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
true.
why I came up with Mosquito Springs Paranormal and just started doing all the characters. Uh, that's how it evolved.
Okay, and then you just enjoyed it. It makes sense, right? Because during the pandemic, uh, the beginning of the pandemic, I was always watching the news, watching, the statistics, this and that. And then eventually it really did a very bad effect on our mental health, right? So having a show
Right.
just like yours, comedic, paranormal stuff, right? So helped you or probably a lot of the people,
Yeah.
turn their focus on, what's happening in the world, which was not so good, right?
Exactly, exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
we tried to, or I tried to incorporate. I say we because it's me and all of me, but but I tried to incorporate some of the stuff that was going on to a small degree. Like so there was the shots that everybody was trying to get. Well, Bobby Ray, he wasn't quite sure about that whole shot thing. He didn't like shots to begin with, and they figured, if they do that shot in you there, they're going to be injectimating some micro antibodies there that can go up to your brain and make you like vegetarian food instead of your beef that you like most of the time, and Microsoft be controlling you and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know if I want to be getting me one of them shots there.
All right, so you actually got a glimpse of one of the characters in Mosquito Springs. Who is that character that you were doing right now, Michael?
That's Bobby Ray.
That's Babby Ray. All right, so
Yeah,
there's several actually. How many characters are actually there in Mosquito Springs, Michael?
I think I've got 23 so far,
My good,
and and
23.
there's three main characters. So you have
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Ray, which you just met. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have, you have Big D, and he's kind of like me, but he's got a little more of an accent going on there, and he always goes, "Oh, Bobby Ray, that didn't happen. There wasn't nothing like that." Yeah, bet there was. I bet there was, because I saw it on the conspiracy channel, so I know it's right. It's right. Oh, Bobby Ray, good grief.
All right, so that's what you can probably, look forward to. Of course, not just that, because in his Mosquito Springs podcast, sound effects. Michael, how do
Yeah.
you do those sound effects? Right?
Yeah, I have a variety of things that I do. I pull from sound effects that are in Epidemic uh, Sound, which is
Mm-hmm.
a website that I subscribe to, and they have all kinds of good sound effects in there. If I can't find the sound effects, I will create it myself. Like if they don't have a horse galloping along, I got a kitty cat in my lap right now. This is dear baby. But if they don't have a sound effect that I need, then I'll just have to create it myself. And like say it's they're taking their coat off, and I need to have them unzipping the zipper. Well, I'll just get a coat with a zipper, and I'll put it next to the microphone and do the zipper sound. Oh no, she's rearranging me microphone.
Oh wow. So when you say that, that reminded me of, there's this part in Annie, the original
Uh huh.
Annie, where they went to a radio station, and during that time, similar to a
Yes.
podcast, right? And they had to do all those sounds, using different
Yes.
things. So you
Love that.
basically also have to do that as well.
Yes. So they're like what they call Foley artists. And they take
Mm.
any kind of strange thing, and it may not actually be the thing that you would relate to it, you know, but it's what makes a sound that you can relate to something. And so that's kind of cool. Like with the horse galloping, you don't imagine a couple of coconuts being beat together, but in kind of a, of course, you can do that with your tongue as well.
Oh
But
wow.
nobody would think about coconuts. And there's other things too. Like there was an old film called War of the Worlds, and they had the sound of the alien spaceships. Well, they had
Mm-hmm.
certain things. They didn't have any alien spaceships to record, so they had to find something that had that real weird sound
Wow.
to it. You know.
So when you do like put together everything, like for example, maybe somebody out there wants to come up with a similar one, but maybe on a different
Hmm.
genre, maybe not
Right. Right.
comedy, paranormal, but similar, maybe a podcast, talk about a story of some sort. Um, what do they need to know how to do these things, or Um,
You
what's your
don't
suggestion?
have to. You
No.
don't have to know how to do all this stuff. The main thing is you need a good story. You need something that you're going to have fun doing for the main part. And sound effects you can find on places like epidemicsound.com, and it it's just nice to have things like that to enhance. You don't even have to have sound effects and music if you don't want it, as long as
Mm.
you've got a good strong story.
Okay,
That's
so
the
there
main
you
thing.
go. Story.
Something
Y-
people, yes, something people can relate to, characters they can relate to. You want the main characters to be somebody that they're invested in,
mhm.
somebody that they relate to and want to know more about them and want to have them succeed, you know.
So when it comes to podcasts, Michael, how does one proceed? Of course, so for example, I now have my story. Okay, so I have my script. So I have to script it, I think, right? I have to make a script
Mhm.
out of it.
Yep.
Okay, and then decide if I will be a solo creator or if I would be needing the, what do you call this, the help of others. Okay, but is
Right?
it really hard to like record? Do I really need like high tech, in terms of a microphone, like the audio, because podcast is all about audio, right? So can I
Right.
just simply do it on my phone?
Sure, sure. Yeah, you can use your phone. Um, the main thing is to have a quiet environment that you don't have a lot of extraneous sounds that's not intrinsic to the story that you're trying to tell. So, like, if you can hear trucks going by and cars honking and dogs barking and stuff like that in the background of your story, unless it actually relates to your story, that's a bad audio. And if
Mm.
all of the background noise, the music, the sound effects are overshadowing the voices on your program, then that's bad too. Audio really is key. That's the main thing. People need to be able to hear the characters talking. And, then you can throw in a little bit of sound effects and stuff. But yeah,
Mm.
phone is fine. Use the best quality audio that you can get and try to do it in a quiet place.
Okay, so try not as much as possible not to have extra or extrinsic sounds coming or
Right.
bleeding through your. Okay, so but a phone is fine as a beginner, I think, probably, right?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
and of course we have to say hi to Miss Zell, Sprinkle with Cards. Miss Zell, okay, so we have a different topic tonight. Instead of the usual crafting with paper and other stuff, tonight we have a different kind of creative avenue, and that is creating podcasts, okay, with
Hello,
stories.
Miss Sale. I see you from the other side.
Thank you
This is
so much,
Madame
Michael.
Rowena talking to you from my spirit bowl. Oh, yes.
Oh, who's this
Thank
character now,
you.
Michael?
This is Madame Rowena.
Oh, Madam Rowena.
She is the medium for the town.
Oh, okay. So there you go. So Miss Sel, we have Michael, and he is the content creator and the one behind Mosquito Springs, which we are actually showcasing tonight. By the way, Michael, guys, Michael, is so very generous that for those who are in the chat right now, okay, you can have the chance instead of the usual team bahay where you submit something that you created for tonight. All you need to do is engage with us in the chat. And if you are in the chat at the end of the show, we will do a raffle where the winner gets to have. Okay, maybe Michael would want to say or explain what the winner will get. Okay. What will the winner get from you, Michael? A limited edition of something, right?
Well, yes. I have my podcast episode album covers, so to speak, and they're little graphics telling something about the episode. And the winner would get the same kind of thing tailored to them with either their maybe a photo that they've taken on their phone or something. Uh, Put into that environment with a ghost coming after them or something. So,
Oh, that is
you know,
so nice.
may,
Maybe just
maybe
their
the photo
name,
would be
right?
them going, ah, like that,
That's so nice. Right. So, guys, imagine that, right? Having something made exactly by Michael. But don't worry, guys, because it's going to be digital, right? So, Michael is
Yes,
going to send it to us via digital file, right? So, how
absolutely.
awesome is that? So, make sure that you are in the chat so that until the end, so that you'll get the chance to be part of that. And we say hi to Victor. Hola, Victor. I think you remember
Hey,
Victor.
Victor!
Yes, Victor was with us in Lida last year. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not this year, but last year. Thank you, Victor, for dropping by. Good morning to you. Okay,
Good to
so
see you, Victor, man. It's really
okay,
great that you're here.
so who's this
Yeah.
character now?
Now that is Winston. He's one of the three buddies that grew up together.
All right, so guys, we might be able to see, okay, all the characters tonight from Mosquito Springs. All right. So now you said that the advantages of being a solo creator. So for those who probably want to start and don't want to be bothered or cannot be bothered with, being with other people for time, for finance, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, I'm sure there are also difficulties. So what are those? The pros and cons of being a solo content creator for a podcast.
Right. Well, time constraints and so much stuff that you've got to do. Because you've got to do the audio recording, you've got to be the voice actor, you've got to be the engineer, you've got to mix all of the sounds together. You have to get everything set up for sending it out and stuff like that. Whereas if you were just a voice actor, you would go in and you would do your, you know, hour or your 4 hours or whatever of your character, and you go home, right? You wouldn't have to worry
Mm-hmm.
about nothing else. Now you go on to your next thing. Well, if you're having to do it all, now you've got to take that and mix it in with all the other characters that you've done to make them sound like they're all in the same room at the same time. What I do to give that feeling is I kind of overlap the voices, so you'll hear them talking over each other just a little bit. So it sounds like they're
Ah.
actually in the room together having a conversation like we normally do. Instead of you hear somebody talk, there's a pause, and somebody else talks, there's a pause. Real life doesn't work like that.
Oh,
But
so there's audio editing. The word editing
yes,
scares me when you say editing in any way, form, or shape. Somehow scares me, but it's something that you actually learn and to be better with along the
yeah,
way, right,
it's
Michael?
doable. It's doable. Anybody can do that. I use a program called Audacity, which
Oh yeah,
allows me to
Audacity.
do
Yeah.
multiple tracks. And that way I can have my voice for Bobby Ray on one track. The next track can have Winston. Another one can have Big D. Another one can have the ghost that's coming in and scaring everybody. Get out! Stuff like that. And then another track would have the sound effects. Another track would have some music, maybe, or maybe there's some ambient noise. Like, the episode that I've got right now. They're down in a bunker, and so you
Mm-hmm.
hear this kind of wind all the time, but
Yeah.
it's not real loud. It's not loud enough to really hear it all the time, but you can just kind of barely hear a.
Oh, so Audacity takes all of those different tracks of different sounds and you can actually edit in a way that it sounds ambient, that one wasn't
Right.
recorded separately from the other.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you
Mm.
can adjust the volume of each individual track, so
Mm-hmm.
you can pull that sound down underneath your voices.
Maybe Michael,
It's
you should have like a tutorial for Audacity for creatives. I actually tried using Audacity just so that I can remove, parts where, during the interview where I still cannot figure it out. See? So there are,
well, that's a good idea then. Maybe I could do that.
right? So, maybe you specifically for, crafters, creatives, right? So those who probably
Right.
want, as Patrick mentioned earlier on in the chat, right? So he said, Mami Lala, are you going to be creating a crafty podcast? Now it made me think, what would I talk about on the
Hmm.
crafty podcast? But maybe possible, right? Maybe one of our episodes, if it's not too technique intensive, maybe it can be. Or maybe I piece out some of the stuff that can be. We'll try. We'll see how
Right.
difficult
Yeah.
it is gonna be.
Maybe you could talk about all the different little tools for the cricket. You know, because
Okay, that
most of
no
us first
video.
coming in, well, you can still kind of do some of that sort of
Mm-mm.
repurposing in the
Oh yeah,
video
yeah,
and
right.
also in the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Because even over the audio, they'd kind of like to know, okay, well, what's a deep point blade and what does it do? You know, what is a knife blade? What is a embosser, a debosser, and all this
Okay.
kind of stuff.
So
And
guys, you
that does
see,
lend itself.
Michael knows his cricket terms because he actually uses cricket, right? There you go. All right. And Victor saying solo creator equals I get my way in all the meetings.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
true. I do have some arguments, but with others that are in the meeting, but I usually win. That's right.
Yeah, but sometimes you know how it is also, Victor, the harshest critic is ourselves, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes it can also be difficult, huh? So true, Sammy said. All right.
That's
So,
right. You gotta
okay.
watch out for some of them other people because they just might not know what they're talking about.
Okay. So moving towards the things that we need, right? So you mentioned about story, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then audio source, or what do you call this, sound effects, okay? So you can use epidemic
Right.
sound, or you can actually do it yourself, or probably get
Right.
some sounds that are royalty free somewhere somehow. Okay. And then so on top of these two things, are there any other tools in terms of what they need to prepare to come up with something like a Mosquito Springs
Right. Right. Well, we were
as a
talking
podcast?
about stories. We were talking about stories and how to come up with story ideas. There's several different ways that you can do that because the story is kind of like the main thing, and then the
Mm.
audio is next after that. Well, on the story, you can, to find story ideas, you can base that on some of your own experience. So like one of the episodes that I've got, when I was a kid, I was living in a small town, and me and a friend of mine, we found kind of what was left out of an old amusement park. Well, I created some of the experience out of that and embellished it to create an episode where these two kids found an amusement park and it was ghost inhabited, you know? So the ghost actually brought the amusement park back to life. So that's how you can kind of embellish on some of your own experiences. You can also take maybe some stories, real stories of ghosts that you've heard about, and customize those a little bit to make them your own. Add a little bit of a comic twist. Like we've got a story here over in Dallas called The Lady of White Rock Lake. Well, in Mosquito Springs, there's Cedar Creek Lake. So I kind
Mm.
of tailored that a little bit for the lady of Cedar Creek Lake, you see. And well, the way that it works in White Rock Lake, see, it's totally different because in White Rock Lake, the girl just disappears. Well, in the one with the Cedar Creek Lake girl, the girl just disappears and she leaves a bottle of beer in the back of the car. That's right, a cold bottle of beer, and I drank it.
Michael, you're so good at it. It's like you can transition from one character to the other in a split second, right?
Right.
So guys, and one thing, maybe they're thinking, do we need to have that big giant microphone to do a
No.
podcast? That one?
No, you don't. It's just this one is really nice. I've got an MK4 digital microphone from Sennheiser in here, which is a little more of a professional microphone. You don't have to have a professional microphone to do podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
but just have the best that you can get that gives you good sound that makes you sound good, you know. And I've got this cover, which is a Chaotica
But is that
eyeball.
really something that you can buy, or you just made that
Yes.
yourself? Oh,
No,
really?
you can buy this. This is a
Oh,
Chaotica eyeball, Kaotica, Chaotica. And you put your microphone up inside of that, and it helps kind of dampen the sound a little bit so you're not getting
oh.
quite as much
So no
extraneous sound.
pops, like a pop filter of some
Yeah, it's
sort.
got a pop filter on the front of it.
Oh, wow. So I
Yeah.
thought
Let's
that
see if
was
I can.
just purely for props, Michael, but it actually is a working
No,
pop filter.
it's a working microphone. Yes, and pop filter too on the front. Yeah, I can just
Oh,
pull this little. See, that's my pop filter right there.
oh, there you go. Okay, so we did just see it. Okay, but guys, again, you don't need this. Okay, it's just I love this microphone so much. Right, so hopefully, maybe one of these days you'll be surprised. I'll have one just like that, but no, that's very expensive. I can't. All right. So, but then again, I think yes. Okay, so you do what you do, like doing the podcast because, right, you love it, right? So, what has been so far, Michael, the most rewarding thing that you have experienced in, doing your podcast? Oh, Michael, your audio, you're muted. Because I think
Okay, how's that?
okay, now it's better.
Is that a little better?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, my cat wandered across the keyboard a while ago. I must have turned it off.
All right, there you go.
That's one of the other challenges you run into.
when you have a fur baby. All right. So as I was saying, okay. So what is your like the most rewarding aspect of being a solo creator for Mosquito Springs?
Well, I guess that I've gotten some really great feedback, and especially from my nieces who just
Oh,
love it. They love the podcast, and one of them said that she'd like to be on a future episode, so I might bring her in on it. And and they're always saying, "Do the voice, do the voice."
that is
So I'll
so
have
awesome, right?
yeah.
So
So
what's the
it's
target
usually Bobby Ray.
audience? Okay, sorry, Michael. What's the target
So
audience of Mosquito Springs?
it's really just anyone who wants to have a laugh, wants to relax a little bit and escape from what's going on and have an adventure.
Okay, so kids also, not really,
Yes.
really young kids, but those who can actually appreciate, things like this genre, right? Are okay. This is okay for them as well. As I said in
Oh,
the
sure.
beginning, I was, scared a bit about the word paranormal because I'm a scaredy cat. But then when I actually listened to Michael's podcast, it's
Hmm.
actually really very entertaining. Right? You wouldn't even know like how in the world can Michael do all of these things? Okay, just by himself. Right? So but before we proceed, Michael, say hi to Marion. Hi, Marion. Guys,
Hey,
Marion.
Marion, how's it going there, girl?
Yes, Marion
You're
just
looking good today.
yes. Marion, sorry, I've been missing your live and I'm always on the replay. Guys, Marion Cresp is into productivity and planners and organizers. So hopefully, when one of these days, we can also have her on Crafty Nights, Marion. There you go. Okay, so let's going back to again, Marion. Thanks for dropping by, my dear. So now, since your podcast, right? Okay, so for
Yep.
a podcast, Michael. Oh, did Michael freeze? Hello, Michael. Okay, there you go. You're back. Okay, you're froze for a while. Okay, or is it just me? Okay, okay. All right. So we're back. Okay. So, Michael, how does one engage? Specifically you. How do you engage with your audience on a podcast?
Well, I have. I try to leave the ability for them to leave me comments in each one of the podcast players, and also in I've got Facebook, I've got Twitter and YouTube. Uh, let's see, Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's the newest one I've started doing too. So there's plenty of places for them to engage and maybe give me some feedback on ideas they'd like to see in future shows.
Okay, so that's great. So because probably one of the things that they probably those who want to start are thinking is how does one engage on a podcast if it's not a video podcast, if it's just truly an audio podcast. So Michael mentioned several of them, and this is it. So you can actually engage with Michael on his Instagram. Okay, that's Michael Sessums VO. Of course, his website. On Twitter, he's Mondo Tiki, and of course on TikTok. And okay, if you want to support Michael, of course, he has a buy me a coffee. All right. So Michael loves coffee. So if you enjoy one of his episodes or all of his episodes, then don't forget to buy him a coffee as well. And please, please don't forget to also subscribe and like Mosquito Springs Paranormal on YouTube. All right. So going back, Michael, let's say hi also to Katie. Hi, Katie. Thank you so much. Okay, Katie,
Hi,
we're actually
Katie.
talking
How's
a
it
little
going
bit
there?
about podcasting tonight. Yes, but about specifically about Michael's show. Yes. So, hi, Lala and Michael. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Katie, and hope to see you in a few weeks as well. And Marian says it's 10:44 p.m. Oh, wow. Thank you, Marian. It's like your total opposite. Michael's super early, and you are, I think, yes, I am at 8:48, and Marian is 2 hours ahead. She's really from the future amongst everybody else. How's the future looking, Marian? All right. So now, how often do you actually put out new content, or is there such a thing as best what do you call this best practice on
Mhm.
putting out podcast in terms of your genre, like it's a story, okay, so
Right.
Mosquito Springs. So
Right.
how often
Uh,
are
yeah, there is what you need to do is be consistent. That's number one. Once a week is probably good. If your schedule doesn't allow you to do that, then work with whatever your schedule allows you to do. But make sure that your listeners know when you're going to release it, where it's going to be, and they'll be able to rely on it. It's like on a TV program that you watch. Like one of them that I like is a comedy called Ghosts. Big surprise. It's on every week, Thursday night at 8 o'clock, and I know it's going to be on there, so I'll be there watching it. So try to be consistent. Make
Okay.
sure you release it at the same time every time. And if there's going to be a break, let them know that there's going to be a break.
There you go. Doesn't have to, life happens, right? So
Yep.
just tell your audience that there's going to be a little bit of a break. Okay, great advice, Michael. Now, Michael, we do know that the landscape of podcasting, just like in any content creation, media that we have, the change, okay,
Hmm.
it's always there, right? It's inevitable, it's always evolving, right? So what opportunities or trends do you foresee for solo creators who want to go into the same genre, let's say comedy or paranormal, podcasts or storytelling podcasts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the opportunities are opening up all the time. Anybody can create a podcast. You don't really have to have anything except, like we said earlier, your phone, and just start and a message of some sort. It could just be you talking about what's going on every day with yourself. You know, anybody can get onto a podcast. But I noticed with the podcast that I couldn't really find the stuff I was looking for. So that's why I created my own with the storytelling. But there are chances to monetize your podcasts in the future. Don't think about that right away, though, because your main thing should be getting your message out, having fun with what you're doing. But there's different places like, the podcast players that are out there that you can have your podcast on. There's YouTube now. You can even do some shorts from your podcast on TikTok and on Instagram. There's just a wide variety of platforms to use anymore.
Wow, I didn't even know that podcasts actually have monetization.
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
Not
So,
mine yet, but I'm working on it.
oh, okay. So it's based on what? For podcasts, is it the same? Is it
It really
subscribers as?
It
Yes,
really
Michael.
depends on how you want to monetize your podcast because there's different
Mm.
things you can do. You can do affiliates, which is where people go in and, maybe in the podcast notes you include, hey, here's my affiliate links. And I get a little bit of compensation if you go to their link, but it doesn't cost you anything. And so,
Mm.
like, maybe there's a mattress company or something that they could click on. And if they go buy a mattress, maybe you get a little tiny bit of monetization about that. Um, then there's also other things where you can do your own merchandise. Like I've
Oh,
got this hat
yes.
from
Oh,
here from the oh, I froze up for a second.
okay, there
Anyway,
you go.
I've I've got this hat which is from Willie's Drag Strip and Casino on Cedar Creek Lake. And that's right, it's the best place that you can race in your little cars
All right.
and
So
you just
that's
have
a
time.
place in your actual show, right?
Yes, it's a fictional drag strip and casino, and Willie is actually my mother's name. So she had a blast when she listened to the episode. She found out that the monster truck rally is being held at Willie's drag strip and casino. That's right. It's right here on Cedar
Okay,
Creek
who
Lake.
knows?
We've
We
got
might be in one of Michael's, future episodes, right? As a
that's right.
character of some sort, right? Maybe the
That's
Philippines
right.
will be part of it. I don't know in what way. Maybe the ghost will be coming from here. I don't know.
That's it. That's it.
Right? Okay. Travel time and different thing. Okay, guys, by the
Oh
way, we
yes.
just have to remind you, Michael and I would like to remind you that all of those who are in the chat right now and who have been in the chat are eligible for the raffle that we're going to be doing at the end of the show. Okay, don't worry because no matter where you are in the world, you can get this one because it is a digital file. Okay, and what Michael is going to do for us because he's such a kind content creator and very supportive of everyone is that he will create or personalize one of his, what do you call it, Michael? Your
Podcast cover, an album cover for the podcast.
yes, his album cover of one of his podcasts and put you there. All right. So maybe, as Michael mentioned, maybe you will be like afraid of the ghost looking like that, right? So all you need to do is, so if ever you are the winner, is to send me, okay, or Michael. We'll talk about it, Michael, if it's gonna be sent to me or directly to you, okay. And then Michael will come up with that one and send it to you. Okay. How is
Cool,
that? That's
cool.
super nice, right? Okay. Oh, Katie has something. Okay, Katie mentioned. Oh wow, sorry. This is so big. Okay, let me just make that a little bit smaller. Okay, Katie said Amazon affiliate links can work fab. Someone clicked on Pat Flynn's link for a book. Didn't buy it, but bought a swimming pool. Oh, and he earned hundreds of dollars from the swimming pool. Oh, Katie, I do have an Amazon affiliate link, but I have not been using it. And do you know, Michael, that I
Nice.
actually am in the Amazon Live? That I got accepted into the Amazon influencer program. And I
Nice.
did, I think, 3 episodes, but then stopped because I'm from the Philippines. It's so hard to
Right.
get things from Amazon to here, but I do have a lot of things I want from Amazon, but I'm not sure if that is gonna be considered if I will go live. But it's something that thank you so much, Katie,
Yeah.
for mentioning that. It reminded me that I haven't been actually going live on my Amazon Live, and we should.
Thank you for the tips, Katie. It was so good to have you come in with us today, lass.
Exactly, right? And by the way, guys, Katie is actually, as you can see, her channel name is live video and podcasting coach because indeed
Nice.
Katie is a podcasting coach. And don't worry because we will delve on that, a deeper dive in the coming very, very near future because Katie is gonna be on conversations with Lala pretty soon. All right. Woohoo! In a few weeks. Okay. So, Michael, what's coming up? Okay, for your for your listeners on Mosquito Springs, what's up in the future,
Ah,
the near future?
ah. I've got several new ones that are coming up, several new episodes. One of them is where our three buddies they travel to Dallas to the school book depository, and they have heard of a thing called the elevator game, where if you do a certain combination on the elevator, that it can take you to another dimension. And so they're going to try to do that and save President Kennedy from getting shot. And they will run into
Oh,
President Kennedy.
oh
That's all I can
wow.
say.
All right. So, as you said, right, anything is possible, okay, in
Mm-hmm.
storytelling, and it's your show and it's your story. But that's something to really look forward to. Okay. So, I'll transition to this. So, with Michael and I, okay. So, as you can see, guys, let me see. Okay. So let's put in the people who have been in the chat with us. Okay, so let me see. And then you have Master Red. Okay, we have Manong B. Okay, I'm trying to like remember who else going through the chat. Of course, we have Victor. Okay. And then we have Ate Margie. Ayan. Thank you so much, Ate Margie, from um United Arab Emirates. And then we have Patrick of Everyday Tech. Okay. And then we have Simply Lorenzo, of course, one of the early um, ones who came in. Okay. Did I forget anybody else? Let me see. Of course, if you are just watching, okay, there's like several watching, but I feel that there's just few who actually commented. Maybe you want to comment now so I can include you. But we thank you so much for actually watching. But
Please
this is
comment and send your
this
cards and letters in.
yes, because this is a very rare opportunity. You get to have like a personalized thing where you are actually there, made by Michael himself. Right? So, okay. So, everybody in the chat, is your name there already? Okay, because make sure that you are. Okay, and Katie used to live in Scotland, but now he's in England. Okay, so there you go. Don't
Oh,
worry, Katie,
cool.
because no matter where you are in the world, we'll get it to you if you actually win. All right, so before we
I
let
love that
Michael go,
kitty.
of course, we will actually do this amazing raffle. Again, thank you so much, Michael, for doing this and for sharing your awesome talent and this one to the people who have joined us tonight. Okay, so if there is no more reaction from the chat, everybody is here. This is it, guys, and we're going to spin. Okay, so that's Michael and me in the center. And the winner is. Okay, there you go. Simply Lorenzo. Congratulations, kapatid. Okay, Simply, I will email you for the details. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so let's go back to Michael. And Michael, I would like to thank you so much for coming in today, for waking up so early just to be with us and share your amazing journey as a solo content creator in creating this amazing podcast, this paranormal comedic podcast called Mosquito Springs. So maybe just, a last invite for everybody to actually follow you and, invite them over to Mosquito Springs.
Well, y'all come on by Mosquito Springs because we got a lot of fun going on here, carnivals all the time, and every once in a while there's a ghost or zombie or something, maybe an alien, but I wouldn't worry about it, because they're usually pretty friendly.
All right. So just the last one. Don't forget. Okay, so these are Michael's socials. He's on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and this is his website. And all of these things are actually in the description of this video down below. And please, if you are not yet subscribed to him on YouTube, it's Mosquito Springs Paranormal. Okay, I really truly appreciate if you would give that a like and a subscribe button as well. So with that, thank you so much, everyone. Michael, thank you so much, and have a great rest of the week. See you again next Tuesday. I have an special episode for Conversations with Lala with Claudio Sennhauser, and we're going to talk about pitching. Okay, pitching a business. There you are, for startups. There you go. Okay, again, thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us again, and see you again next week for another Crafty Nights here at Mommy Guide Inc. Have a great rest of the week. Bye.